Hello, I'm David Barlow. I'm a car accident injury lawyer here in Honolulu, Hawaii, and we handle cases throughout the state of Hawaii. We offer free consultations, so feel free to give us a call. There's a no obligation, a free consultation, so it doesn't hurt to give us a call, fill out our contact form. We'll be happy to help you out. As always, we do not charge our clients any fees until we get you a settlement for your car accident injuries. First, on this page, we're going to be discussing accident cases our law firm handles. If you need more information about this topic, you click on our free advice page and then scroll down. It's getting close to the bottom. We have a few dozen pages there with all sorts of advice. So feel free to scroll through some of those pages, find out what you need to know if you've been injured in a car accident. So we're just discussing here what types of cases we handle. We do really just specialize in car accidents. We get many calls from all sorts of different types of injuries and legal issues. But honestly, we just do car accidents. The world is getting very complicated. And even though a car accident seems like a very basic, straightforward, simple thing, things get complicated when you're talking about the laws and trials and all of that. So we really, over the years, we've really cut down on a lot of types of cases we handle so that we can really just focus in on car accidents and do a very good job of helping our clients who've been involved in car accidents. So obviously on this list, the very first thing says auto accidents. Obviously the most common type of accidents we deal with are rear end accidents. Those are the most common, and those are also the most straightforward. There's not usually a battle over liability, even though the person thinks you may have stopped too fast or something like that. If you hit somebody from behind, it's going to be your fault 99% of the time. So those cases are pretty straightforward. Those are very common cases for us, as the rear end accidents. A lot of accidents also happen at intersections, as you can imagine, and those tend to be the more serious accidents. Usually some people are going high speeds through intersections. A lot of accidents happen when somebody's turning left in front of somebody that's just going straight. That's a very common one. There are accidents when people are changing lanes. Those tend to be more of the complicated ones, or there's a lot of, he came into my lane, he came into my lane first, and there's a little more, the discussion on whose fault it was with changing lane cases. But usually, in car accidents, it's usually pretty straightforward whose fault it is. It's even when people are kind of lying and denying things, you can usually figure out just by looking at where the damage was on the vehicles, where the cars were after the accident. You can usually piece it all together and get a pretty good idea of what happened and whose fault it is. We do moped accidents. Mopeds tend to be a little more complicated because mopeds do not have insurance. So on those, you kind of have to think of them like a bicycle. As far as insurance goes, the car that hits you will pay the first $10,000 in medical bills, much similar to bicycles or pedestrian accidents. We'll get to motorcycles, but normal car accidents, the car that you're in, that's the insurance that pays your medical bills. But for moped and bicycle accidents, it's the car that hits you. They pay the first $10,000 in medical bills. So that's the best way to think of mopeds. Think of them like a bicycle as far as a lot of the rights as far as insurance goes. Those moped accidents tend to be pretty serious injuries. Usually you're kind of just a sitting duck on these mopeds with all these huge SUVs and trucks spinning, whirling right past you. Moped accidents tend to be pretty serious. Something about mopeds also, moped riders don't usually wear helmets as often as motorcycle riders do. Maybe they feel like, they don't go as high speeds as motorcycles, which is true. But if a car hits you on a moped or a motorcycle, either one, you're going to wish you had a helmet. I've seen it all. I've seen people with serious head injuries with very minor accidents, and I've seen people in major moped accidents. We're talking people had a helmet, and the helmet was pretty much demolished, and they survived without any head injuries. So, and helmets save lives, like they say. I've seen it firsthand. And the motorcycle accidents, of course, that's the tricky one, where moped or motorcycles are not required to purchase their own medical coverage on their insurance, and so a lot of them don't. And so motorcycle accidents is kind of a loophole in the law where no one is required to have insurance. So motorcycle riders out there, like, either get the insurance with your motorcycle insurance, or make sure you have good medical coverage, because you've got to get those bills paid while you're in the process of negotiating a settlement for the person that hit you, or heaven forbid it's, the accident is your fault, and then nobody pays your bills, right? Bicycle accidents we handle as well. We already kind of discussed that. Very similar to moped. You're talking serious injuries. You're talking the other driver pays your medical bills, and you should definitely always wear a helmet as well. Pedestrian accidents, we already talked about that, but the other driver, they will pay the first $10,000 in medical bills instantly without determining who is even at fault. They pay those bills, and of course they're liable for everything if it's their fault. You'll get a settlement for everything in the end. And pedestrian accidents can also obviously be very serious. We do some, this is the only exception to the motor vehicle accidents that we handle. We will do some slip and fall accidents if the accident happened at a store. Preferably not McDonald's or Walmart, because they never settle. You just have to take them to court. But we don't handle slip and falls. There's a lot of slip and falls at all the hotels, in the bathrooms, or by the pool. A lot of slip and falls on public sidewalks, and someone steps in a hole on the street. We don't handle any of those. There are plenty of lawyers that do. So just because I'm saying this doesn't mean there's no hope for you. But we do slip and falls if it was at a store, and the injuries were pretty serious. Other cases, now for the list of cases we do not handle, number one is workers' compensation. We get a lot of calls for that, because I think those come up on a Google search for work comp cases. We don't do any of those. That's a completely different area of law, a lot of different laws and regulations with that. We do not do workers' compensation. Medical malpractice as well. Those cases are extremely complicated. You need to hire a lot of experts. You really need an experienced lawyer that's done medical malpractice for many years if you want any hope of a great result from that. So we do not do medical malpractice. We get a lot of calls for assaults, a lot of people getting beat up in dance clubs, a lot of tourists getting beat up, or just different types of disputes. We don't do assaults, honestly. Almost always it's he said, she said. It's, very rarely somebody's just sitting there minding their own business and someone just comes up and clobbers them. With assaults, there's almost always this, some little fights happening leading up to a major injuries. So we do not do assaults. We do not do dog bites. A little similar as assaults. A lot of times with dog bites, the owners will claim that you were, agitating their dog, bothering their dog, you're trespassing, things like that. Dog bites we just do not handle. And of course, all the other laws that we get calls for: wills, trusts, family law, contract law, business law, bankruptcy law, you name it. We don't handle that. And quite honestly, we took those classes in law school 15 years ago. But, a lot of people just want quick advice. And honestly, if you need advice for car accidents, we are the ones to call. Anything else, you're better off calling someone that specializes in that specific area of law. All right, thanks for listening. As always, give me a call if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to help you out.